Hello and welcome back to another Doctor Who action figure review. In today's review, I'm taking a look at the latest Doctor Who action figure release, which is a character online exclusive. It is the Fugitive Doctor and TARDIS collector set. What a way to kick off 2024 with probably one of the most requested characters to be turned into an action figure from Doctor Who in recent years. I think it's been about 4 years since she made her debut in The Fugitive of the Judoon, and she was an instant hit with everybody. She was such a fantastic and interesting new version of the Doctor. And now finally we have her in action figure form. So, before we get into the nitty-gritty of what's what, let's jump straight in and take a look at the packaging. So the figure comes packaged in a newly designed window box featuring the diamond logo to celebrate 60 years of Doctor Who, which I think looks fantastic against this black star field. Really, really cool. Is obviously somewhat evocative of the Sid Sutton title sequence of the 80s Doctor Who. And then the rest of the box is a mixture of these light blues and whites, again, kind of evocative of the Tom Baker Vortex, but also again of this diamond motif. And I think it looks fantastic. It's obviously sort of playing on what we've seen with the B&M sets in terms of how the figure's displayed in the window box. But this time around, we actually have proper plastic windows. I know that bothers people. So these are in place, I guess because it is a collector's figure. They wanted to make sure that it came in a very nice piece of packaging. And I absolutely love that you're missing this corner on the front, and then you've just got the Doctor Who logo there. It makes for a really interesting package rather than just being a straightforward cuboid. Cutting that corner off just makes it look a little bit interesting. I would love to see this style of packaging continue, to be honest, but it'll be very interesting to see where the packaging continues once we get into the Ncuti Gatwa era of figures, which, as we know from images from Toy Fair, probably won't be too far away. So you have all the usual things from the other style guides, the little diamond pop-outs, you've got the TARDIS at the bottom. And then on the back of the box, we have a little biography about the Fugitive Doctor, which is kind of like a summary of the events of the Fugitive of the Judoon. And then once we take her out of the box, when you see the inner packaging, again, the same sort of diamond, bluey, whitey motif going around the outside. It looks lovely. As you can see, she's really wrapped in tight with all the different levels of plastic. If you've had a Character Options TARDIS before, you know you're going to need your screwdriver. It's like getting into Fort Knox with these things. Once you've taken all that out, then you can see at the back of the card is your diorama backdrop, the interior of the TARDIS. So you can cut that out and then stick it inside your TARDIS if you prefer to have a TARDIS interior on display inside the TARDIS. And as you can see, it's already perforated. Just be very careful when trying to take it out. I used a pair of scissors as well just to perforate the edge a bit more. I was really scared that it was going to pop out and rip all the picture on the front. So just be careful when removing that. And then here we have our TARDIS and our Doctor. What a beautiful set. So we've seen this style of TARDIS before, the Peter Brahatsky box, but this has actually been modified, which we'll go into a little bit more later on. But for now, let's just dive straight in with the Fugitive Doctor. And what a figure. What a likeness. She looks amazing. They've done an absolutely superb job of capturing Jo Martin's likeness. Definitely worth the wait. I think that is the first thing that needs to be said. People have been disappointed that this figure hasn't come out earlier, and there have been reasons for that. You know, it has been in development for quite a while. I remember getting the message saying that they scanned Jo Martin for the figure, and it seems like ages ago now, but there were obviously reasons behind the scenes as to why this figure couldn't be made straight away, which I know is frustrating for collectors. We all want our favourite characters straight away, but at least she's here now. It was just a shame, really, that there was a lot of horrible stuff being said on the internet about particular people and about character options, and kind of frustrating for me seeing it on there because I just wanted to just really stand on the rooftops and shout out, she's coming. I've seen the pictures. She looks amazing. She's coming. Just hold your horses. But now she's here, and now you can get her, and she looks incredible. First off, let's just jump straight in and take a look at that head sculpt. Like I said, a superb likeness of Jo Martin. They've done a beautiful job here. Much like with the 6th Doctor in the recent B&M set from last year, they've cast the skin in just solid plastic, something that they've been doing with Marvel Legends at Hasbro and the Black Series stuff for Star Wars. It seems to be sort of industry standard now. And honestly, I'm really glad to see that they've done it here, and it seems to be something that the Doctor Who line is using moving forward, because I think it just makes the sculpts stand out that much more. I think if you'd cover this with a load of paint, it would have taken away so much of the sculpt, but the fact that they've gone for this new technique, brilliant. I'm all for it. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how future figures look with that new technique. In terms of the other paint apps, really well done. The hair is stunning. The hair is really beautifully sculpted. There's a lot of texture there. There's lots of different highlights in the paint. You've got the darker paint and then that lighter paint on top. It looks really, really good. Adds a lot of depth and a lot of texture. And then, of course, you've got her earrings painted on at the sides, and then all of the paint around the mouth, the eyebrows and the eyes, all very neat and tidy, just all accumulating in a really excellent likeness. And I love the expression on the face, that slightly arched eyebrow. There's a lot of character and there's a lot of attitude in the sculpt. It's great. Really, really fantastic. And I think probably one of the best in the line. Then we move down to the body. So again, lots of new stuff going on here. And this is part of the reason why I think this figure has taken such a while, is that it required such a lot of new parts. I know people were hoping that, it would turn up in a B&M set, but there's a lot going on here. Now, that is not to say that there is no part reuse here. There is part reuse, because that is just the nature of the beast with so many toy lines these days. And we saw it with the Jodie Whittaker figure. She used parts from Martha Jones, and the Fugitive Doctor is no different. She uses the main sort of buck of the Donna Noble figure from Series 4. So it's the torso piece underneath all of the new PVC plastic parts. It's the shoulders up here. It's the biceps as well. And then we also have the crotch piece and the hips and the thighs. Those are all reused parts from Donna Noble. Not that you would really know. It's very, very cleverly done. So let's talk about the new parts then. Well, like I said, we've got the new PVC plastic pieces. So obviously, we have the jacket. The jacket looks great. I love how it all sort of splays out at the bottom and flows out. Lots of lovely creases, very natural. All of the seams sculpted into the back, all of the buttons, all of which have been highlighted with that gold paint. They look amazing. So we've got the new forearms as well at the bottom with the cuffs, like the frills, kind of like John Pertwee's shirts. She's got the frills at the end. So these are all new, and again, lots of paint apps here with the orange on this one and the blue stripes. And then on the other side, we've got the red and the sort of speckled blue and white as well, which look great, very neat and tidy, very effective. Again, the hands, these look new as well. I don't think these have been used on a previous figure. So again, new hands, and much like with her head, they've been cast in the flesh-colored plastic. They've not been painted. So again, I think that works really well. I think it makes the hands feel more delicate and more feminine, which is great. Then we have the waistcoat and shirt, which again, a whole new PVC piece, which has got a sort of textured feel to the sculpt to kind of match the material seen on screen. Again, all of the buttons have been finished off in gold paint. And then of course, the real eye-catching part is the shirt. The shirt, which looks amazing. It looks like quite complicated paint apps here. So there's a lot going on. You've got like a base orange, a darker orange on top with these sort of feathery patterns around here. And then you've got the sort of teal with the dark blue spots. And again, that red with the blue and white that we see on the cuffs. And then there's the blue and red stripe across the top of the shirt. And then much like with the other cuff, she's got this long collar, which is again that light orange with the blue around the outside, which goes all the way around the back. Really impressive paint apps. Like I said, very eye-catching. They really do just pop. I love this costume. I think she had a great costume in the show. And then moving down to the legs, like I said, everything between the waist and the knees have all been taken from the Donna Noble figure. But then below the knee, it's all new. The legs taper off. You can see all the creases down here where all the fabric of the trousers have bunched up. They look great. And then she's got her Doc Martens on, very similar to Peter Capaldi. And you can see around the back, they've even sculpted the tags popping out the back there. She looks great. Really, really cool. A beautiful figure. And like I said, clever reuse of parts, but so much new stuff. I think it means there's about 9 new pieces of tooling here. Al's already sort of mentioned in some of the interviews that have been going around on the internet that there are possibilities to do this figure again, but with the alternate head sculpt with the sunglasses, which I would love. I'd love to see her with that look. Who knows? We might not have seen the last of the Fugitive Doctor, but if you want her in this basic look, then now is the time to get her, because I know they are selling very, very quickly. So she also comes with her accessory, which is a blaster rifle. Not the usual accessory you see coming with the Doctor, but perfect for the Fugitive Doctor. It played a big part in that major scene when she had the showdown between Gat and the Jadoon. So I'm really glad they packed her with this. And she looks great holding it. She really does look very cool. It's a great looking weapon as well. Beautifully sculpted. Lots of little details there. Lots of rivets and nuts and bolts and things. And the paint applications are really well done. It's sort of cast in a gunmetal grey, but then you've got these gold accents, the orange bits and the bright silver. Very impressively detailed and sculpted. You know, you can see all the inner workings and stuff, and the barrel of the gun there has got a lot of detail. Really, really great. And I know some people took the mic a little bit about Al not being able to fit their gun in the Fugitive Doctor's hand, but honestly, she holds it very easily. And even though she doesn't have super mega articulation, you can still get her in a variety of poses, whether it's aiming the gun or just holding the gun at ease. So let's go into the articulation. 360 degrees at the head, at the shoulders, at the biceps, pivoting elbows, swivel joints at the wrists, at the waist, the hips move forward and out to the sides, and then she's got swivel joints at the thighs, pivoting knees, and that's it. No articulation at the ankles, which is fair enough. I don't think she needs it. But with all that articulation, like I said, you can get her into a variety of really good action stance poses, which is great. And none of the other parts, like the coat or anything, sort of hinders the movement of the legs, which is great. So overall, the Fugitive Doctor is a huge success. So pleased to finally see her out there, and I'm so pleased that I no longer have to keep that a secret. But now let's move on to the TARDIS. So the Fugitive Doctor's TARDIS is basically the way that the TARDIS looked in season 4 with William Hartnell moving into Patrick Troughton. So it's the Peter Brahatsky box that has been sort of heavily modified, and the toy has been modified as well for the better, because finally they've fixed the roof. What I mean by that is the roof isn't just totally flat, or in a lot of the cases convex, because that seemed to be a problem with those original toys and the B&M releases. Some of the roofs were a bit indented. Here we actually have it as it should look, slightly raised. They've even got the overhang at the front. You know, it's not quite as severe as how it looked on the prop, but that means you get that like little dip here between the roof and the sign boxes, which I love. And yeah, it looks great. So whole new roof, a sculpt of like wood on top, which has all been finished off with a dark wash. You haven't got the large block, you've got the slim block here. And then we have a whole new light on top. Again, far more accurate to what we see in at least The Fugitive of the Jadoon, but also in those later Hartnell and early Pat Troughton stories. Honestly, it's kind of a shame that we didn't get this roof with the Abominable Snowmen set. It's a shame we didn't get this roof way back with all the B&M sets. Now, one thing to point out with mine, which is a bit of a shame, is that I have a wonky lamp on mine. As you can see, it's a bit skew with. It's being sorted, so that's okay. But just something to be mindful of, that these lamps can be a bit funny. But then moving down to the rest of the TARDIS, everything else is pretty much the same. You've got the police box signs, which look great. They've got a bit of a dirty wash here and there. The windows are ever so slightly different in that they've been whited out. You could still put a light in there and they would illuminate, but they're just more opaque. And then moving down, we've got the door sign, which is, again, the same as the William Hartnell version. And then over to the other door, we've got the lock finished in gold and the handle sculpted on. And like with all the other TARDISes, you know, it's the same wood sculpt, but with that like Artex concrete texture over the top, which looks great. And then you've got the dark wash over the top, which just really brings out the sculpt. And then, of course, it has the usual features. Open the doors, they click open. You can put your TARDIS interior cardboard piece inside. Now, I went and watched the bits of the episode where you saw the TARDIS to remind myself, and actually in the episode, you don't see the interior of the TARDIS through the doors. In fact, what you see looks more like this. It's just the prop. They went old school, classic Doctor Who and just let you see the inside of the police box. Whether that's just an error or what, I don't know. But if you want screen accuracy, you don't have to put the TARDIS interior in there. But I did it in mine because I needed to do it for this review, and it looks great. It is a bit fiddly trying to put that cardboard in there. I was slightly worried that I was going to break the doors, but no, it's fine. It's just a bit cumbersome. And then, of course, it's the same mechanism at the bottom to close the doors as we've seen before, the little button in the floor. And overall, it looks great. A really lovely TARDIS. I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see this box again, maybe with some snow paint splattered on it, and we could have it as a 10th planet or a Twice Upon a Time TARDIS with the First Doctor, either Bradley or Hartnell, depending on which one they want to do. Hopefully, we haven't seen the last of this new roof because it looks great. And of course, the Fugitive Doctor looks amazing. So all in all, a really great set. I like the fact that they packaged her with the TARDIS. Some people were a bit annoyed that they packaged her with the TARDIS, but I like that. I like the fact that we have her with her TARDIS, especially when the reveal of the police box in the soil was such a big part of her character. For now, at the time of recording this, you can still get the box set on Character's website for £40. I know there were some criticisms about the price, but, you know, I think it's fair what we're getting. You know, the TARDIS, the figure with so much new tooling. Get them while you can. They are selling very fast. I don't think they'll be around much longer, to be honest. So if you're on the fence about getting her, get her now. And of course, now that it's slightly later in the week, all the website issues, I imagine, will have been sorted. That was a bit of a pain. Even I have to say that that was a bit of a nuisance trying to get hold of her. But if you're like me and you've had to buy collector's figures from collector's websites in the past, you know that this is not a new thing. It's something that we live with when thousands of nerds try and buy one product on the same day. Hopefully that will be something that will be rectified in the future so that the process is a little bit smoother. Thank you to everybody for watching, and I will see you all next time for another Doctor Who action figure review. We've got new stuff to come, as we've seen at Toy Fair, Shooty Gatwa, possibly Ruby Sunday, possibly a Wrath Warrior, Sonic Screwdrivers, maybe even a Beat the Meat plushie. So much cool stuff still to come. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye! Why do you keep falling over?